We're underway into Arthur. And a nice little cut shot there. Gets Brazil on the board first.
Looking for that right from the get-go. He didn't go hard and fast on that.
And Arthur to serve. They try Mole out of the gate. And he slaps it down the line for a winner.
Especially with the block of Evandro. They want to...
So again, into Arthur. A little bit of a tight pass. Yeah, and Mole just smothering that one in the angle for the stuff.
And this has been the theme from Arthur, coming in that straight approach and then that out, jumping into it, clamping it early.
So go back to the Brazilian left-sider. And what a get right there. It was, you're getting everything that you're throwing at the Vikings touched. Slap down on two right there. Evandro with a good serve, but...
Or getting ready to serve. You might say my middle, you're making sure you have that call, but...
Christian back to serve here. Again, you feel like Arthur's going to get a heavy dose. And there's another stuff from Andy Mole up at the net. His second already in the first 6 points. It'll be interesting to see if Arthur can get any balls up to Evandro for an option. Just goes the traditional 3-contact route and wraps it over the top for the winner that time.
Much as maybe a Brazilian fan would like, and especially against Mole and Sørum, I think you really do need to be, you've got to be at the top of your game. You do.
Again into Mole on the right side, and again, he finds the line around the big block of Evandro. Yeah, I'm a fan of those kind of 70% swings. No extra points for throwing your shoulder out. And there, another swat block from Andy Mole on the soft offering from Arthur that time.
Admire the homework that Anders Mole has done. He's looking at the tempo, looking at the momentum.
It has developed in a big way with this duo in white on court. And Sørum's got that one on the rundown. And slaps it off Evandro's block and down.
From the gates, they've got the blocks on Arthur. Now all Sørum is doing is holding on the shadow.
Arthur again, just sneaking it underneath the block of Mole that time. And a nice hard swing into the angle. You mentioned it.
As the game is progressing, here they come.
Yeah, the pressure's off you in the sense that you've got a good result. A nice little short line shot from Christian Sørum, but you want to come away with a podium finish, right?
People to sort of say, well, how come they got there? You want to be able to perform. It was good from Evandro, caused a little bit of mayhem, but Sørum doing what he does.
A nice pickup there from Arthur. Chance in transition. Christian's got it again. Will shoot out to the pin, and the soft little middle short shot from Christian Sørum. Just the creativity. They're always so impressive.
He's added this little middle drop shot into his armory, especially in trans.
In favor of Norway, Evandro set to serve. Just kind of smooth strokes that one in. Christian Sørum around to the right side and down in the angle. Again into Arthur out wide, and Mole finding the range on that one. We saw him just barely miss moments ago, but it just seems like he's constantly calibrating, right, until he dials you in perfectly. Into the angle that time again.
It's good from Arthur. It's the phrase, isn't it? The wrist away, and this is what Arthur decided, but it's the pronation of the whole body, the whole shoulder going that way. They're adding that heat.
There's the baby line you mentioned just a second ago.
Completely taking away the attack of Brazil.
And Arthur moving around to the right side, and a nice little switch up gets them the side out.
Switch up that much, so well done, Brazil. It's always good that thinking person's volleyball isn't being broken down by the Brazilian serve.
Again, Arthur on the right side, and he just chips it into the angle over the top this time.
To hit the onto option for Evandro on the right side formation, it really could be.
And we'll find out if they stick with it or if it's temporary. Andy going hard into the cross court there.
Well, far too easy and pulling the plug for 9 set points for Norway.
And back to the left side goes Arthur. And Sørum with the dig perfectly, shoots set out wide, and the jumbo into the corner. Falls, but Evandro's into the net anyhow, and that'll do it in set number 1. So back out on the court quickly, and Arthur to kick us off here in set number 2 for Brazil. And that's where it starts to get frustrating, right? Not a great pass. And they'll stay on Arthur. He starts on his traditional left side, and a good, smooth slap down the line.
This is promising. Anders Mol and Sørum both in the angles. Mol going late.
Again, he makes that switch over to the right side. Does Arthur and finds a nice swing right up the middle of the court for a winner. Called it the Mol effect. You start to do things that maybe are a little bit outside of your range. That one goes high off the hands of Mol, however, for a kill. As is almost always the case, if your blocker nets, the defender digs the ball behind him and has it neutralized. Are you a fan of a heavy dose of middle serve if you don't have a particular opponent you're going after consistently?
Yes, that is such a good call, Rick. Able to advance themselves in such a good position. And then you start to see who wants it more, and then you can go with the little micro expression.
Arthur on the left side. And there's a heavy angle right there and a little excitement from the Brazilian defender.
He thought about what was going to happen, what their expectations were. Just let that go.
And Sørum on the left, and he's got a chance here. Not just yet. Sørum picks up the line shot and then slaps that off the right hand of Evandro and down just a little.
And as good as this performance has been by Brazil to make these semi-finals, Evandro has only got 17 blocks. And it may seem a lot, but it...
Around to the right and over the top and down for Christian Sørum.
And leaning too much one way, going too late with the juke and then not getting his feet underneath. Going to have to play a little bit more patient game, wait on the blocks before the crack of the gun from the contact.
A nice little roll over the top of Andy Mol and down. So we'll go into the technical timeout. We say there's nowhere to hide in beach volleyball, and certainly that is the case, as you can see.
The service pressure. At this point,
there's a nice fall away shot into the angle for Arthur.
but the space was opened up in the cross. And this is where you've got to be a little bit later and just keep your vision and your wits about you.
Probably come away wishing every side-out opportunity fell that easily. And a little softy over the top by Andy Mol. Arthur with a chance. And Sørum digs it over the net. Second opportunity for Arthur. And Christian's got it. Ooh. Yeah, Andy, I think, just lost sight of where he was there for a second.
Got way better foot skills than he just deployed here. But at this point in the game, when you're this much ahead, you can afford to be
right on him, which it was not, but discretion always the better part of valor. So Sørum with the little tap down the line seals the deal here for Norway. Convincing fashion in our first men's semifinal, 21-11, 21-15.